Hello, my name is Catalina and I do lifestyle videos. Today is kind of an uncomfortable video for me, but I'm going to be talking about postpartum anxiety, baby blues, and everything in between. Honestly, like the uncomfortable stuff that happened once I gave birth that I really didn't expect. But that being said, I feel like I have a better handle on things. So I wanted to share. So I hope there aren't like mom haters out there, because this isn't the time, okay? I do want to say that, like, if you're pregnant and watching this isn't the experience for everyone. Every mother is different. So don't like expect this to be your experience. This was mine. I've heard many moms who even get like postpartum baby blues or depression like months into postpartum, so like 6 months down the road, a year down the road, and some people don't have it at all. So like just know that like this doesn't mean it's going to be your experience. Let's get started. So a little bit of backstory. I'm 4 weeks postpartum and this is my first baby. I'm a very naturally optimistic person in general, and my pregnancy was actually a really pretty good pregnancy. I definitely had like a tough first trimester, was super sick and stuff like that. But my second trimester was good. My third was pretty good until obviously I got like super big and in pain and stuff. But for the most part, my pregnancy was pretty positive, and more positive at least than I thought it was gonna be. Once I gave birth, a lot changed. A lot changed, obviously, like with my body and dynamic. I had my beautiful son, but a lot of things that I didn't know or I didn't expect kind of happened, and I wanted to talk about it. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is anxiety. I already have anxiety like pre-baby. It runs in my family, and that's already kind of like a problem I try to handle regularly. I don't take any medication or anything like that. My anxiety is something I have to work towards on a regular basis. I think I noticed that skyrocketed. My first kind of sign of anxiety really came when the baby came, and I couldn't sleep, which you're told as a new parent, like you're not gonna sleep, you know, and that's just like how it is. But for me, I was kind of like overly obsessed with my baby, and I literally wasn't sleeping. So for like the first 2 weeks of having PJ is my son's name, it was really tough. I wasn't sleeping, and to be completely honest, my husband was here with me for the first 2 weeks, so like we both were off of work, and there were plenty of opportunities where I could get sleep because my husband was here, so we could like each take naps and things like that. But what happened was my sleep deprivation just made my anxiety spike. So like I just couldn't, even with the help of people, like my mom came and she was like, I'll watch the baby, go get some sleep. I literally couldn't fall asleep. And that was my biggest problem, is like I just had way too much anxiety of anyone taking care of the baby besides me. And it was making me super restless. It was heightening my baby blues, which I'll go into next. It was making me just sad and super, I mean, not only was I a zombie, but I was just like really negative, really hormonal. I don't know, man. It just wasn't good. It really wasn't good. And everyone kept saying like, well, sleep when the baby sleeps. And I'm like, nah, dude, I can't sleep when the baby sleeps. Like, I feel like something's gonna happen while he sleeps. So like I wasn't sleeping when the baby was sleeping. I wasn't sleeping when my husband let me sleep. I wasn't sleeping when my mom let me sleep. And it just got really bad. I heard so much about postpartum depression, and I'm sure this is like a mild case, but in all honesty, I didn't hear about postpartum anxiety, and that is a total thing. Like no one really talked about that before. And when it happened to me, I'm like, this makes total sense because I'm already have anxiety. And it was just, it freaking sucked. It really sucked, and it still sucks sometimes. But now I'm kind of getting on a better routine and I'm sleeping a little bit more when the baby's asleep. So it's getting better. It's something I'm working on. But no one really told me about that. So next I want to talk about baby blues. Again, I heard so much about postpartum depression before I had my baby. I literally did not hear about baby blues. And when my son was born, the first day was like great. It was very odd. The whole thing's really weird because it's like, oh my God, he's here. There's like an instant high when your baby's born. Not for everyone, but for me, there was a really instant high that he was born. It was like the end of this giant mountain that you were climbing that was pregnancy. And when you give birth, it kind of like everything just changes really fast. And my second night in the hospital, and we only stayed 2 nights, but that night I was taking care of the baby, obviously feeding him, and I just was crying a ton. And it wasn't like the happy tears already had happened. So like I cried a ton when my baby was born, happy that he was here, and I just super blessed. But I really started feeling kind of like sad. And again, I'm not a person, like I'm a pretty optimistic person and I know myself to be. So when I'm feeling sad, it's really a huge call out for me because I'm just not like a sad, person. And I started feeling really sad. And I was like, well, this is weird. Something's happening to me. I don't know why I'm sad. And I think once I started getting sad, then I started, I didn't want to tell my husband because I'm like, this isn't bad. Like, you're not supposed to be sad. And I think I started having all these texts and people asking like, oh, are you so excited? You must be so happy. Everything's joyful. And I started feeling really guilty because I wasn't all those things. So I think like first there was a sadness, and then there was like the guilt of like, wait, I'm supposed to be so happy and I'm not. And then there was like all the other changes. You still have hormones going on, like literally in your body. You're healing from labor. I'm trying to breastfeed, which is like a whole other thing. There's this high and low of like pregnancy ending and motherhood starting. I mean, you're also not, like the first 2 days, at least I wasn't at home, and it was just not good. When we did get home, things really didn't change. And the first week or two, you're really just getting to know your baby. So I think during the first 2 to 3 weeks, I was just, along with the feelings I was already having, I started to feel guilty, even more guilty, because I was like, my son deserves a better mom. And then when I was having all this anxiety and not sleeping, I was just so cranky. I was like, I'm just not even, I'm not a good wife and I'm not a good mom. And you just start going down this like really dark place. Not you. I started going down this really dark place because I was just feeling all this guilt and this, unhappiness, and I was crying all the time. It was just weird. The whole thing was so weird and so awkward. And coming off of a very positive pregnancy, it was really off-putting and it just sucked. It really, really, really sucked. I don't know, like I had read about postpartum, I had heard about it. I don't know. I'm just a positive person, so I was like, that shit ain't gonna happen to me. I'm good, I'm mentally strong. I can handle this. And yeah, it's been a process. So next, I want to go through some things that I'm doing that are helping me through this postpartum new mom process that has been very uncomfortable for me. So the first thing I wanted to do is, one, I knew I needed to talk to my doctor. So I definitely did that. But outside of that, I'm like, okay, Kat, I needed a workout. Obviously I can't work out because my body was healing, or is healing still. But I decided to take walks, which it's really hard to get out of the house when you're like just gave labor. But I needed to be tired. Like I just needed to tire myself out so I can get some sleep. And that's really what I kind of have done a little bit more of, is either walk or get out of the house. So I started walking so my body could be more tired, so I can actually like do the sleeping. And once I started sleeping, even a little bit, like when I got like 3 hours of sleep at once, I just felt like a much more sane person. So I also started reading the Bible. Everyone has their own like way to feel connected to God, but for me, I was like, you know what? I haven't been this low since a while ago, so I needed to start reading the Bible. I just need to do the things that I know fill me up. One thing I did was I confided in my husband, which was really uncomfortable and hard. Luckily, I have an amazing husband who's super understanding. One, I got to confide in him and just tell him how I'm feeling, and tell him that like I'm sad and I don't know why, and I feel guilty for it. And he has done everything in his power to help me, whether it's to get sleep, to let me leave the house without the baby for a walk, or whatever the case is. We've also had to like heighten our level of communication, because obviously for him it's not easy to be around someone who's super moody and agitated and just not great. So we've been really patient with each other, and he's been really patient with me. So I've been really thankful for that. A big help for us has been taking sleeping shifts. I'm breastfeeding, but I am supplementing with formula, so I, have some luxury in having a couple more hours of sleep than like more than 3 hours of sleep, and it's been really helpful. Like I'm a better mother when I can rest, and I'm really trying to be super patient with myself and kind to myself during this whole like new motherhood process. As an optimistic person, it's been really hard to adjust, and I'm learning that this is just the beginning. And I'm gonna have a new normal, and we're figuring it out. But so far in month 1, this has been my experience, and these are the ways that I'm combating the anxiety and the baby blues and all that. So I wish I would have knew about this before I had the baby, because I could have prepped myself or prepped my husband a little bit more, and that's why I'm sharing it. So if you're watching this, thank you for listening. I'm getting sleep now and I'm feeling much better. Obviously, I put up makeup today, and look at my energy right now. So I'm feeling really good. My baby's right here. He's so cute. But yeah, I'm feeling good right now. But I'm taking it day by day, and that's just what I'm doing. Praise God for giving me the strength. But I'm feeling good. So yeah, I hope this helped. If feel free to like share your experiences with me on social media. But thanks for listening, guys. I really appreciate it. Mwah. Bye.